Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, we're going to take a change for once, and I'm going to talk about the Roger Patterson's Bigfoot suit. Now, for a long time now, I've been posting a lot of videos about JFK assassination, but what people don't know, and some people don't, is actually the Patterson and Gimlin Bigfoot film was second to the Zapruder film, because there's only two films that's actually been talked about more than any other films ever made. Was the Zapruder film, which shows the JFK assassination, and Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin's Bigfoot film they filmed in 1967 in Bluff Creek, California. Now, for years, people said this is a real Bigfoot that's seen in the film, and people kept on making up claims that, no one can ever make a suit like a creature that we see in the Patterson and Gimlin Bigfoot film. But as everybody knows, in my research, okay, I go now looking for detailed stuff, like when I did my investigations into the Patterson and Gimlin Bigfoot film. Okay, I always look for in the surroundings, like I said, when I view a film and stuff, I view the whole film. Other researchers, they only pick parts of films and everything else and just only study parts of it, but I studied complete film. And when they talk about can a suit like this be made, and everybody comes up with the answers, and a lot of researchers come up with the answers saying, no, a suit like this cannot be made. Well, again, everybody knows me. I always put that to a challenge. So to see if it was a real Bigfoot or not, I went ahead and, when I was studying the film and stuff like that and analyzing it, I looked at different possibilities. Okay, I watched how the creature walked. I studied the muscle movements that's supposedly in the suit. Now, a lot of people claim there's a lot of things they find in the film. Okay, like certain parts of the Bigfoot, it's got this and that, which I'm not going to mention in my videos. Okay, but they said it's there, but I have never seen it. Okay, but there's certain things I look for. And then after I got done viewing certain things, and from my point of view, I would say it's 99.99% of a suit, okay, or 100%. I'm going to say actually 100% because it is a suit and there's a man in that suit. Like I said, when people do research or investigation into something, they do parts. As for me, I do a full investigation, full research of stuff. A lot of researchers, they just do the research and that's it. Well, when I found out and I started doing my research stuff, there was actually two men in the suit, because if you watch Patterson and Gimlin Bigfoot film, the first walk sequence, the Bigfoot's shorter and stuff, which I'll point out right here. I have the images here. I know I do. I think I do. Let's see. Here they are. Okay. When we study the film, when we view the film, we watch the film, we see this, actually, this Bigfoot here is smaller and this one's taller. Okay. These are not the two same individuals, as people once put it. But again, what people don't know is when Roger Patterson then was filming this film here, he actually filmed it twice. He filmed the Bigfoot walking this way with one man in a suit, and then he filmed it again with another man in a suit, which made him bigger and stuff, which I point out who they are in one of my videos from the past and stuff, which I have on my YouTube account. Okay, like I said, one of them is taller. This one here is 7'3". This one here is around 6'2". But like I said, when you have a suit on, it adds 5 inches to you. Now, but we're going to just talk about, now the man in the suit in the first part walk sequence was Bob Hieronymus. Now, a lot of people disagrees with me. A lot of people says Bob Hieronymus was lying. But he did take lie detector tests and he did pass it twice. And how I know it's Bob Hieronymus, because when we watch the Patterson and Gimlin Bigfoot film, as you see right here, which I'm going to show you, see how this left foot goes straight up and down when he walks. And then, excuse me, his right foot points out and pushes off to the right as he's walking. And that's the same walk that we see from Bob Hieronymus. As you see here, the left foot straight up and down. Left foot over here, which I'll probably over here, which I'll shrink this so you can see in full, you know, because I know I'm over on a certain section. See how the left foot is straight up and down? Go over here, left foot straight up and down. The right foot pushes off to the right. Bob Hieronymus' foot pushes off to the right as well. But when we watch a second walk sequence, we don't see that type of walk. We see a different motion of walk. So Bob Hieronymus was in the suit, and he was in the first part of the Bigfoot walking, but the second sequence is not Bob Hieronymus. That's somebody else, which I showed in one of my other videos. You'll see it. Now, to find out how the suit was made, I had to do a lot of investigation, a lot of research in doing that. And what I found out was the reason why people claim that they cannot make a suit like this is because they're looking at one individual of making this suit. But when I did my investigation, my research, I found out there was actually 3 people that made this suit. And here's how it went out. Roger Patterson made the headpiece, okay? And this is going by what Bob Hieronymus said and everything else, because Bob Hieronymus, everything that he claimed that when he had the suit on, it felt claustrophobic and everything else, which is true because I had the copy of my suit I had on, and everything that he described and how he felt and everything else, I felt the same way. But anyway, Roger Patterson made the headpiece. Now, Roger Patterson was good with leather. Okay, he worked with leather and stuff, and he was also a sculptor, and he was also an artist, as you see here, drawings from his book that he's done, Do Abominable Snowman of America Really Exist. These are drawings from his book that he's done, but he also done sculptures, like I said, and he also worked with leather. So the headpiece was made of leather. Okay, now the feet was made by Ray Wallace. How I know they was made by Ray Wallace? Because when I studied the film, I noticed that the feet on this Bigfoot is a pair of Ray Wallace's shoes, as you see right here. All I did was I outlined this section right here, the foot, and all I did was sharpen it, brighten it, darken it, brighten, darken, sharpen more and more as I go along, and we can actually see the bottom of the Bigfoot's foot right here. And how you see it's got that notch in it and stuff. And this foot here is the same exact feet that this guy right here has in his hand, which is Ray Wallace's nephew. And you notice that on the side of the Patty's feet, that the fur comes down on the side of the shoe. Now, usually it should be around the ankle area, because I'm going by what I've seen of a Bigfoot I seen in 2002, which I'll make a video on it and tell the whole story on that one. But I didn't see hardly no fur down closer by the feet area. But this one here, the fur comes all the way to the side of the shoe. So when I sit there and I said, well, okay, well now Patty's feet is a pair of Ray Wallace's shoes. So when I started looking at Ray Wallace's shoes and stuff, here's what I find. As you see right here on the side of the left and right shoe matches the left and right feet of Patty, because Patty's left foot is smaller than Patty's right foot, as you see right here. The left foot is wider and shorter than the right foot. Right foot is more skinnier and longer. But when we look at Ray Wallace's shoes, as you see right here, we have the left foot smaller and longer, the right foot wider and shorter. See? And as I was pointing out before, right here, we see holes right here on the side of these shoes right here. See, these are where they tucked in the padding, I should say the fur. They tucked it in right around the ankle area. And up here on top, which there's markings right here, which you can see on the side of the shoes, okay, where they tuck in the fur. So at this point, the headpiece was made by Roger Patterson because it was leather. The feet was made by Ray Wallace, because even here, John Green even made a pair of shoes, and here's an image of the pair he made. But you notice there is no markings or nothing around the shoes that he made. But when we look at Ray Wallace's shoes, we see there's notch marks all the way around here nail holes and notch marks all the way around here and up through here on the feet of his shoes. All right, but as other shoes, he don't show that. Now, also, if we look at the tracking dog film, we see that this same footprint is this footprint right here. So the tracking dog film and the Patterson film are lining up by the same feet that we see on Patty and we see in the pressure fittings. I mean, the pressure, the imprint on the ground and stuff on the side of the road and stuff. But we're not going to talk about that right now. We're talking about the suit. I'll make more videos on that later. So I noticed at this point, I was like, okay, well, we got Roger Patterson making the headpiece. We got Ray Wallace making the feet. But we still have this body. So I'm sitting there looking at it and I'm viewing it. Okay. And I noticed that when the arms come back, this upper arm right here, which is right here, okay, claps together all the time when the arm comes back. This claps together and then it opens up. Then it claps together like this, like a suit would when you're walking. And we can see the imprint of a smaller arm inside the suit. Now, also, I want to point out that when we look at this suit, we notice that there's a hook that comes from the buttocks area. It hooks in front right here. And they place a zipper of the suit in front, not in the back. Okay, because we'll go to that here in a minute. And there's a strap that comes between the legs and hooks in the front. Because we could get all this detail. And we notice that when it walks, you see how this bunch up. They said it's a hernia and it's leg muscle, but it's not. It's actually how it bunches up. Okay, because it looks more like a pocket from somebody on the inside, as you see here. Here's the top of the pocket, here's the bottom of it, and everything else. As it walks, and you notice that the butt's getting flatter here. Okay, it was rounded off, but then all of a sudden it starts getting flatter. Okay, and then we see the bunch up right here, as you've seen. And I noticed also that when we watched the Patterson film, that there's a seam that comes up and around and right over here. And as the Bigfoot was walking, which I have it here, here we are, there is fur that comes untucked from the seam, as you see right here. Okay, I'll push it up here and bring it up here. Let me zoom in just a little bit more so you can see it. Right there, as you see right here, fur comes untucked between the legs and the buttocks area. The fur drops, and it just hangs there while it walks the rest of the way. So I'm like, okay, well now we know this is a suit, and we know that the legs is a different part of the section than the torso. So now we have the headpiece is separate, the feet is hooked to the bottom of the like I want to say pants, and then we have the torso separated from the rest of the body. Now I went in further and said, well, what was this suit made from? Well, we heard the story that Philip Morris sold Roger Patterson a gorilla suit. But it wasn't a gorilla suit that they used. When we watch the film, we see Patty's hand comes back, and on her left hand, every time it comes back, she opens it up like this. So I went ahead, went in this area here, lighten it up, darken it, lighten, darken, and sharpen it. And as you see, Patty's left hand is a bear paw. It's a bear paw. So now this matches almost what the story that Bob Hieronymus said. He said it would smell like an old dead horse hide. Well, actually, they used to make the suit was actually not a gorilla suit, not a horse hide, but it was a bear hide. They used a bear to make the suit. This is why they had the bear paw right here. Everybody says it was carrying something, or it's a frisbee, or Bigfoot was carrying something, but actually it was a bear paw. All right, when it opens up, you can see it because the hands don't, they're not individual fingers. It's all in claps. It all claps together like this as the Bigfoot's walking, but you don't see individual finger movement. You see a whole hand claps together like a glove. So I'm sitting there, okay, I was like, well, we know the headpiece now, Roger Patterson, the feet, Bob, Ray Wallace. Now, who can have access to a bear hide? And who can make the muscles and make this thing look more realistic than anybody else can? So I sit there and I start going through Roger Patterson's friends and found out that Bob Titmus, which also knew Roger and he also knew John Green, was a taxidermist. So I'm like, okay, well now we got a taxidermist here. So I started studying taxidermy and stuff like that, knowing there was 3 different individuals. So after finding all this out, and then finding out that, hey, here's um, Bob Titmus now, which is a taxidermist, which he can have access to a bear hide, and he knows how to make the muscles and make it look real. So when I was studying taxidermy, I found out that there's a trademark on bears when they do a bear sculpture. There's a trademark where they have the legs as individually. They bring the legs up, put it on there, and they have the seam right around the hip area of the back legs, which we also see in Patty. So we know Patty's got a bear paw. So they use black bear is what they did. They use actually a black bear, and that's why you see certain spots on this suit that looks like it's red and stuff. That's because black bear also has spots on them as well, certain ones, and this gives that red tint and stuff like that. That people thought it was gunshot wounds, but anyway, this is a trademark done by a taxidermist. So I'm like, okay, well now we know who made the suit. We have Roger Patterson making a headpiece. We have Ray Wallace making the feet. And we have Bob Titmus making the body and the torso and the legs. Then I said, well, also what a taxidermy does is how would they make the breast on this? Well, if you noticed that a taxidermist is going to say, well, you want to use gorilla breast. This is what they do. They use gorilla breast. See how the gorilla breast starts more not in the top part of the chest, but more in the center of the chest is where they start. As you see here, you have all this open up here and this open up here. So it's making it more like a female Bigfoot, but more as a gorilla as well. Because when everybody talks about Bigfoot, they think of gorillas. Okay, so they wanted to bring it as close as they can. So this, if you notice right here, which I'll zoom in some more, right up here so we can see Patty a little bit. See how the upper chest is all open up right here, and then the chest starts right here at the top of the chest, of the breast, I should say, starts here. Then it hang down right here, same as a gorilla does too. You got all this open up here, and it starts right in this section right here, and then they hang down stuff. Same thing we see in Patty. So a taxidermist would know how to make these breasts on this suit and make it look real. So after I found all this out, after I found all this information out, I took training in taxidermy so I could see how they make and form the bodies and stuff, and how they place the skin over the bodies and stuff like that. And I'd just go one step at a time, one step at a time. Then I found out how this is made or that's made, how they've done this and how they've done it. That's how I knew how I could make a replica of the suit. Then, when I took all these trades, figuring out how Roger Patterson made the headpiece. Well, instead of using leather, I went ahead and formed the face, as you see here, and I put latex over it, okay, just to make the face part, because leather, it's hard, to work with, especially when you're hand sewing it and stuff, because most of the whole suit actually was hand sewn. So what I did was I took Patty's head and formed the face as Roger did, with the high cheekbones here and then the brows and stuff. I had this up here, but none of this really worked when I had this on here, because I was doing a study at the same time I was making a face, going through individuals. They said, well, this is Patty's face, or this is Patty's face. I was trying to go in between there. Says, well, there's a lot of similarity, but there's some difference in between it, because they said a movie person made the suit and all this other stuff, which he didn't. And so I said, well, I'm going to go just study Patty herself. So that's what I was doing, just looking at here and see how Roger done his cover and how he did his big drawing here, and just studied this face here, left these little individuals alone, and just study that. And then I sculpt that and put that latex over it, as you see right here. And that's how I made the face. So I made the Play-Doh to make the structure of the face and stuff, and then I laid the latex over it. So I was doing the same style, but instead of making it leather, I made it that way. And now, after I made the headpiece, it was like, well, let's see, when I put the fur on it, what's it going to look like? And as you see right here, here's that headpiece. Here's Patty. I'm going to have to go over here. Here's Patty. Here's my headpiece I made. Here's the headpiece I made within a darker color. And then we got Patty right here. So see, it's similar. Identical almost. So after I was done with that, I said, well, let me go ahead and make the suit. So I had some test images done first. Test images I've done just had the gorilla suit with the zipper still in back and stuff, with padding in certain locations, see if it could be done that way. It wasn't, it was totally different. So I went ahead and said, well, okay, well, let's take that old padding out, the shoulder pads and, the pillows. They said they was using, and let's go ahead and take the zipper out of the back, sew it up, and put the zipper in the front, and have the pants individually away from the suit itself because of my test images that people throws out there. So see, Patty, it doesn't look like Patty, but they're using test images. You see what I'm saying? They're not using these images here. They're using test images, trying to throw people off from my research. But then I made the pants separate, and then the torso. I put a strap that comes in between my legs and hooks in front, the zipper in front. Then when you brush it over stuff, you won't be able to see the zipper. You won't be able to see the strap, but you'll see the tip of it, which you'll see in here. The pants will separate it from the upper torso and stuff. And after I was all done making it, following how Roger Patterson would make the headpiece, how Ray Wallace would make the feet, and by studying how a taxidermy does, which is Bob Titmus made the suit, here's what I came up with right here. As you see, it's identical to the creature in the film. It might be just a little bit off, okay, but remember, I'm not using a bear hide. I'm using a gorilla suit. But here it is. Here's me standing next to the suit after I stuffed and stuff. Now, I'm 6'2", as you see right here. But with the suit on, this is how tall I was. We done testing on this, which I put in my book, Patterson Bigfoot film, 1967. I have a book out, which is a research book, where I have all that in there. And when this suit is on, as you see, I'm 6'2", and I come to its shoulders. But when I have the suit on, okay, my head's up here, and then with the feet and the legs and the chest, and all that on, that's how tall I am. So see, I almost grew about another 10 inches with that suit on. So that would have put me around 7'2". So you see, I made the breasts and stuff, and I have here's images of me doing the walk test, testing the suit, testing the suit. This is separate than the pants, which I'll show you right here. As you see right here, we have the pants right here, and then we have the upper torso here, which is pants is separate from the torso and stuff. This will make this more realistic and stuff. And then, as you see right here, okay, you see how the body is. You can see the muscles and stuff like that in it. Even without it, you see the padding I put in there. That's what made that look like the hernia and the leg and stuff. That's it right here. It's just padding is all it is. And the zipper's in the front of the suit, as you see right here. And then, there's the headpiece and everything else. And you can see it's still got the muscle forms even with the suit not being on. Okay. And this is where I put the lower to make the calf a little bit lower when I walked, where my calf is up high. But with this and that being down low and stuff, it looks like the calf is a lot lower than what we see on a human. So that gives it that extra effect to where it looks like, it's different. And then, as you've seen there, and here's some test footage right here that I've done, where you can actually see the muscle movement in the back, as you see right here. And you'll see the muscle movement right in the back. All the muscles are moving, even in the arms and stuff. Okay, I took my headpiece off. So people says, well, you probably put a different background in there, and you actually got one of these creatures to do all this exercise and stuff. But I didn't. Okay, I did test videos and stuff to show the muscles flexing and moving and stuff like that. Okay, here's the second one I done. Okay, as you see here, the hood, I had to make the hair in the back of it long. So all I had to do is just comb it into this fur here, and then it all blends into one where it looks like my whole head's connected in together. It took me 3 days to make this suit. Here's some test footage. Well, actually, this is from a film, because I leaned this suit out to put in the film. And here's a couple images from that film. As you see here, I post these on Facebook, and people thought it was actually a real Bigfoot, because here's one image here, then here's the other image. They thought it was a real Bigfoot, caught on a trail camera stuff. But this is my nephew inside this suit at the time, and he's walking around for a film they was doing, and here he is right here. And everybody says, hey, you know what? You could have just went ahead and did this or did that. You know me, I'm not that way. I believe in showing the truth and everything else. Okay, there's, like I said, there's a lot of things about the PG film, okay, which I'm going to make more videos on eventually. But I just wanted to make this video here to show people that Roger Patterson did use a suit in his film. It was not real. Okay, the person that made this suit, and this is how I knew how to make the suit and how I came real close, even as you see right here. Even when I showed these images and showed the test footage and everything else to to John Green, John Green told me in an email, which you'll see in my book as well. He wrote me, he says, you know, he gives me a lot of credit for the research I've done and the time I spent into it, particularly in the suit, which is the closest that he has ever seen that was in the film. The closest to the creature in the film that he has ever seen. The only suit he's ever seen production to where it looks like the one in the film. Okay, this was told to me by John Green. Like I said, you know, I always, you know, all these researchers know my research, okay? They're going to say this film is 100% real, which actually it's not real, okay? The film is a hoax, okay? Whether people want to believe it or not, I know there's people out there say, oh, no, it's real, it's real. No, it's not real. Because remember, all these researchers, all these years, same as I get from the JFK assassination research, you know, all this stuff has been in front of public science stuff. Just like, you know, all these researchers want to make these claims saying no one can make a copy of that suit. I'm not a costume maker. I'm not a costume maker whatsoever. This is the first suit I made. And as you see here, this is the first suit I made. And as you see here, from my first suit is almost identical to the creature in the film. Okay, and you got muscle movement in it and everything else. This is not, this is the suit I made, cost me $243 for the materials to make this suit. Everything on it is hand sewn. I hand sewn the whole suit, and it took me a total of 3 days. Now there's some people out there that says, oh, I spent thousands of dollars for this suit. Okay, and it took me, 10 years to make this suit. No, okay. That's why I said when people sit there and ask questions and stuff, I'd rather have them come directly to me instead of reading what you see a post on a site or someone says this, someone says that, because they always change it around to make it out to be a different story, I should say, or add more to it and give a lot of false information out. But the suit, material wise, it cost me $243 for the materials. It took me 3 days to make the suit. It's all hand sewn, even the padding in it and everything else. All the bone structure I put in there for the muscle movement stuff is hand sewn in there. Okay, everything's hand sewn. Took me 3 days to make this suit. Okay, there it is. People sit there says, you know, it's real. You know, it's not real. No one can make a copy of the suit. But as you see, I'm not a costume maker, and a suit can be made the same as we see in the Patterson Bigfoot film. I just want to make this video here to let everybody know, you know, Roger Patterson did have that suit made. Roger Patterson made the headpiece. Bob Titmus made the torso and the legs and the arms. And Ray Wallace made the feet for Patty. And as you see here, for the first time ever, people don't want to know this, but this is Patty's feet right here that we see in the film. This is Patty's feet right here. Okay, they took these shoes off after they got done filming. They took these shoes off of Patty, and that's why Ray Wallace's nephews and them still got it today, because, and his sons have still got it, is because of them are Patty's feet right here. Always in the description down below, you'll find a site where you can order my book. My book is called Patterson and Gibbon, a Bigfoot Film, 1967. In that book, you're going to see this information and a lot more information on the Patterson and Gibbon Bigfoot film. You'll also see the encounter that I had of a creature in 2002 and a drawing I've done of it. And you'll see other research I've done. Also in that book, you'll see the research I've done on the real Bigfoot, which are Edomites, and stuff. In the description down below, you'll find a site where you can order that book. It's on Amazon, paperback or Kindle. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. And everybody, please have a pleasant day.